y'all, Stephanie here with Minimalist Mom Life. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about budgeting, and this is not a budgeting video that's going to tell you how to set up your Excel spreadsheet or what sinking funds to have or whether to do cash envelopes or the EveryDollar app or the YNAB app. What I want to talk about is if you are going to be a lifelong budgeter and you are going to be someone that for the rest of your life has control over your finances and makes decisions that makes you proud of yourself and that better your future and help your kids out in the future and allow you to be generous, then what you really need before you get into the nitty-gritty of Excel spreadsheets and the actual budget is you need a really strong purpose. You need to know why you're having a budget in the first place. And that cannot or should not, in my opinion, be as simple as because I want to be debt-free. Okay, well that's good. Why do you want to be debt-free? Go back to the beginning. Why do you think God gave you money in the first place? What does the Bible say about money? What does how you spend your money say about you? If you looked at your debit account or your credit card account, what does it say you value? And then, what do you want it to say you value? What do you want to build your life upon? What is your dream for 5 years down the road, for 10 years down the road financially? And again, not just eventually I want to have a paid off house. No, I'm saying, what do you want your values around money to tell the rest of the world about your values, about everything else? What are you hoping to instill in your children with the way you manage money? What is your overarching why for how you plan to live your life? Those kind of whys, those kind of like concrete values, that purpose will allow you to stick to the budget way more than motivation ever will. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings come and go, but purpose sticks around. So rather than trying to conjure up motivation by trying new different budgeting techniques or following somebody else that's talking about budgeting, let's get a really rock solid, strong purpose. If someone told you that if you stuck to a budget, that nothing bad would ever happen to your children, that your children would just never ever encounter pain, you would stick to a budget and it would be a piece of cake because your why would be so strong, because you would have this idea that I would do anything to protect my children. So if this would cause that, I would do it. Now, that's not the truth, right? A budget does not protect our children in that way. And life will never be perfect, no matter how good we get at budgeting. But if we have a really strong why, we are capable of really hard things. And when you have a really concrete idea of why you want to be in control of your money, then momentary, fleeting impulse purchases and eating out when you know you have food at home and drive-through coffees and keeping up with the Joneses and putting your kids in every activity under the sun, it's a lot easier to not do those things when you have this idea in your head of exactly how you want your money to be handled for something greater than getting debt-free and, you know, leaving money to your kids one day. No, there's even more to it than that can really be this purpose that motivates us in the long term, not in the temporary feeling, but in that like gut motivation that says, because this is going to be who I am going to manage my finances this way. If you are married, I highly encourage this to be a date conversation or after the kids go to bed. What is our overarching thing? And let it get messy. Get the marker board of your homeschool mom, get that out, or get a notebook and scratch notes. I mean, put the bubbles in all the different places and how they all connect to the picture of the family that you want to be, with the values that you want to be, and how does money play into that. Budgeting is so much easier. Similar to my last video where I was going on about simplifying and letting go of stuff being easier if your why is more than an aesthetic. I think budgeting can be a lot easier if our whys are just a bit stronger. And I think for most of us they are. We've just never put language to it. We've never put words to why we want this financial piece. We've never put it down on paper as to what the overall goal and vision of life is and where money ties into that. And that's why we want to manage it. Because we don't need to have a love of money, but money does exist in our society, and we're going to have to use it. And God has called us to steward things well, and He's called us to do stuff with our money, not just to have it and to hoard it and not to pay interest on it all the time. So having that really strong why, I highly encourage you to do that. And if you have a strong why of why your family is on a budget, leave it down in the comments below. Encourage other people as you're mapping yours out. It's okay to see, why is she so into finances? Why do they live on a budget? Why did they choose this lifestyle? As you're examining and getting to know yourself and your own why and your own values. I will talk to y'all in my next video.